Realtree's Midwest Whitetail is brought to you by Cuddyback, Drake Non-Typical, Easton Arrows, Frigid Forage, Fuse, Grizzly Coolers, Hoyt, Ozonics, Redneck Blinds, Wasp Archery, and Realtree.
Well, it's December the 2nd. Mitch and I have elected to come back here and hunt that pine print set where Tyler harvested that wishbone buck exactly a month from today. The reason we came back in here, we feel like over the years these deer really like to dial in on the green sources. So we've got about a 2.5 acre plot of clover in front of us here with several big and beastie plots on the outskirts of this corn here. We can confirm that our top hit list that over the years we've been after, but we've never been able to get a hold of, was that landfill buck. A neighbor shot him about 1.5 miles to the north of us. So that ends the quest to that deer. It was fun while we could, trying to catch up to him, but unfortunately we weren't able to do that. We're at that time of the year now where anything can show up. We haven't checked any cameras to see what's made it and what hasn't. So a couple deer that we might be could see tonight. We've got that Flyers buck that showed up late season last year, and that Mr. Clean and BC buck that generally likes to show up late season as well. So we're going to sit back and see what tonight brings us. Well, that's a pretty cool encounter. You know, we always talk about that day after the front. I forgot to mention earlier how we've had several consecutive days of nasty, rainy, windy weather. And today we finally got that break in the weather. So we've got a clear bluebird day. Temps are around mid-30s. And the deer have been piling out in this field ever since we've been here. And we just had that encounter with that 5.5-year-old deer we call Mac Don. I last laid eyes on him in this field back in 2017. He's kind of went under the radar, as we haven't had any pictures of him yet this year, but it's unfortunate that he's busted off his both G2s and one G3. Otherwise, we'd had him on the hit list here, so we still got about 1.5 hours of daylight left, so we're gonna sit back in here. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us this evening. We had a pretty good hunt, as we had an encounter with Mac Don and seen several other good deer. Moving forward here, this is probably going to be our last hunt out of this particular stand, as we're going to come in here and move the redneck to the north end of this plot and start mowing down some of the corn to get prepared for late season in here. We're going to keep an eye on the Cuddyback cameras to see if anything new shows up, and mainly just hunt the major fronts that move through the area here moving forward. So thanks for tuning in to Midwest Whitetail, the Great Plains Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to Midwest Whitetail, Great Plains Show. Really windy last night. We had 55-mile-an-hour gusts. I've got a spot I'm headed to right now that it seems like the deer just pile into whenever it gets when it gets really windy like that. So I'm gonna walk through the cattle pasture and hopefully get set up in a spot where deer can be filtering up to some green tonight. Running a little late, so doing the interview on the fly. Thanks for tuning in. Well, I've been at it a while now. No deer yet. My fingers crossed. I'm hoping there's a big buck wanting to check all these does that are come out in this field later on tonight. I hope he's bedded right down in here. It's late in the rut and sometimes a secondary rut when this spot starts to really get hot. So, like I said, got my fingers crossed. Hopefully something good happens tonight. Well, I know the video quality wasn't great right there at last light, but you know, after 10 days of regular rifle season and another full weekend of youth season, the deer are pretty edgy and haven't been moving until right at last light. But you know, fortunately for me, this deer came in with you know, I think 2 or 3 minutes of shooting light left, and so I went ahead and took the shot. She went 35 yards. Not a lot of blood on the ground, but when I opened her up, there's lots of blood on the inside. So proud to have her, and maybe the next one that walks in front of me will be a big mature buck. But thanks for watching Midwest Whitetail, the Great Plains Show. Well, hey everybody, welcome to Midwest Whitetail, Great Plains Show. It's the middle of the week of rifle season here in Missouri. I'm excited. My mom got off work, took off work all day today, and I get to hunt with her tonight. So we're gonna set up in an old combine and an old piece of abandoned piece of equipment, and hunting a picked soybean field. So my mom's a good shot, and she will pretty much shoot the first deer that comes out. Any doe. Had to be a big buck though. So anyway, we're gonna go get in the combine, and hopefully tonight's a memorable night. You ready? Can you see any blood though? I haven't seen any. On that. Your deer had antlers on it, and they fell off on the way to the...
How did you see that? Boy, you have good eyes.
Looky there. Good work. Good one.
Yes. Okay.
Lots of jerky and sausage, right?
Yes. Or canned deer.
Canned. Okay. Having a pretty good evening tonight. It was pretty slow, very slow until the last 10 or 15 minutes, and my mom was able to connect on this nice doe. So one less deer to be eating our soybeans next year. So, and she said we're gonna can it and put it in canned deer. So it's a win-win. Everybody wins. So thanks everybody for watching Midwest Whitetail, the Great Plains Show.